Hey everybody, welcome to the replay. We are talking about decluttering versus organizing today, so I'm going to give it a minute just to open up, let people join, get in. I sound kind of weird today because I am a little bit sick. I'm not sure if I'm sick or just congested or I don't know what's going on with me. Anyway, I'm going to invite some people, get you here. I'm going to invite lots of people so that I'm not talking to myself. And I am recording on my computer because I am making a YouTube channel. So in case you ever want to sign up and subscribe to me there and see lots of awesome videos, because I'm going to do some things that aren't on here in the Facebook group on YouTube. You can see everything there. Go ahead and find it and subscribe. I'll put it in the comments. But like I said, I'm feeling kind of sick today. Not feeling super great. That's fine. And then we will get started in just a minute. Hey, okay, I see people. Hey, Kristen, and Kaylee, and everybody else on here. Shamra, hi. Okay, so we were talking about decluttering versus organizing. My hair is crazy. I'm kind of sick. Kaylee's asleep. I'm going to start recording on my computer, and we will get started. So, as we talk about this, if you guys have questions, post them in the comments below. I will answer them while we're live. I have like 30 minutes to talk to you guys about this. So this is your chance to ask questions. I have to be guilty of trying to organize clutter versus parting ways. Yeah, Kristen, so we're going to talk about that and how you can like kind of shift out of that mindset and start letting things go that aren't serving you. So everybody here on Facebook, it's going to be a little bit awkward for a minute because I'm going to do an intro on the video that I'm recording on my computer. Just ignore it and think of awesome questions. Okay, hang on. All right, so welcome to decluttering versus organizing, which is a really, really important distinction. I think a lot of times as moms, especially, we think that we need to have better organizing skills. We have Pinterest boards dedicated to how to organize your kitchen, how to organize the playroom, how to organize kids' clothes and closets. And we walk into places like Target or we get on Amazon, and because we live in a world of expert marketers, they show us all kinds of things like storage units and bins and over-the-door hangers and all of these organizational hacks and things that look great for a picture and are great for a Pinterest board and are great for like a Pinterest search, and it will pop up and it will make you click on their site. But when you try and implement it in your daily life, in your real world, everyday life, it all quickly comes undone. Hey, Emily. And it gets really, really frustrating because we want to be organized. We want to know where everything is. We want to be able to find it when we need it. Hey, Danielle. We want to have a home that feels good and that is easy to be in, where we can find things quickly and easily, especially as parents, especially as moms, especially when we are trying to get the kids out the door to go to daycare or to school or to wherever it is. You know, we're pretty desperate for these organizational solutions and these hacks. And I'm here to tell you, you've probably heard me say it before, but I'm here to tell you again and again and again, you cannot organize clutter. And maybe, yeah, you can organize it for a day or two, maybe if you're lucky, even a week, but it's all gonna come undone. And I've seen this not only in my home, but a lot of you know that I used to be a Montessori teacher. I was responsible. Montessori does things a little bit differently. The school that I was at was a private school. It was not regulated, and we had 30 kids, ages 3 to 5, in one classroom. And I was responsible for keeping all of the materials and supplies for 30 children organized. And I even learned that working with 30 kids that too much of a good thing or too much of anything is never a good thing and not sustainable. So you cannot organize clutter. And I'm going to talk to you about how you can kind of simplify it, how you can start getting comfortable with letting things go, how you can start trusting that yes, you will have everything that you ever need, and that you're never going to go without. You're not going to struggle by letting go of all of these things that you are trying to organize. And in fact, the opposite is going to happen. You're going to find the exact opposite to be true. Hey, Catherine. It's going to be so much easier for you, and it's going to be sustainable. I have been living like this for 5 years, and my home is always organized. And I don't have to go out and buy all these fancy things. Hey, Savannah. I'm not spending a whole lot of time and money on bins and closet hangers and pop-up organizers, and I just don't do that. But my home is organized and I can find everything quickly and easily and efficiently. But also, so can my kids. My kids know where to find things, and my kids know where to put things away, which is huge, especially as your kids get older and you don't want to spend all of your time cleaning up after them. You can say, hey, time to clean up your toys, time to put everything back where it goes, and they can easily do that and put it back where they go. So let's talk about, I have some notes here, but I want to ask you a question. I want you to think about it. These things that you are trying to organize, when do you actually use these things? So we can talk about, let's talk about toys. When you're trying to organize your toys, how often are your kids actually playing with these things, and how often do you actually see them playing with them, truly playing with them, not just throwing them around the room or throwing them around the house? How often are they actually using it the way that it's meant to be used? So think about that, and think about whether they spend more time playing with it, or are you spending more time trying to organize it and clean it up and go behind them and put it away and find a way to organize it and find a way to keep it nice and neat? What are you spending more time on? Actually using it the way that it was meant to be used, or are you spending more time just trying to clean it up and manage it? So think about that, because if the answer is you're spending more time, the only time you pay attention to it is when you're trying to clean it up or when you're trying to organize it, then you need to reevaluate whether you really need it or not. So toys can kind of be overwhelming, but let's think about the hallway closet. It's full of a bunch of blankets and sheets and towels. When do you actually use those? Are you using them on the beds, or do you only pay attention to them when you need to organize that closet, or when you need to wash those sheets, or when somebody has an accident on the sheets and then you need to switch them out, which if you guys know, we don't have spare sheets, which sounds crazy. It's not something that we did on purpose. We just kind of stumbled into it, and now I don't go out and buy extra sheets because I know that we don't need them. When the kids have an accident at night, I throw the sheets in the washer and then the dryer and then put them back on the bed, and they use the spare blankets to sleep on for the night. So if the only times that you're paying attention to these things is when you need to organize it, or when you need to find something that's underneath it, you need to get to the towels that are underneath the sheets in the closet, that's the only time you move those sheets. That's clutter, and you don't need it, and you don't need to organize it, and you don't need to keep it in your closet, and you don't need to keep it. It's clutter. So I want you to start shifting the way that you have the things in your home. If it's in your bathroom and the only time that you get to those lotions or those soaps is when you feel like you need to get your bathroom reorganized, that's clutter. You don't need it. So it's kind of this idea, the saying that says, if you build it, they will come. So if you go out and buy special organizational bins, you're gonna find clutter to put it in there instead of just getting rid of the clutter. If you don't need it, don't keep it. If the only, like I said, I sound like I'm gonna repeat, but if the only time you ever pay attention to it is when you need to organize it, it's clutter. If you're not using it often and it doesn't have a specific purpose, it's clutter. So get rid of it. Stop trying to organize it. Stop driving yourself crazy. Stop making yourself feel like you're not a good homemaker or a good organizer or a good housekeeper or a good mom or a good wife because you can't stay organized. Nobody can keep that organized. Have you walked into a dollar store? I'm only picking, I do like the dollar store for certain things, but if you are tasked with the job of keeping a dollar store organized, that job has to suck, because there's so many things in there, so many things, and people move it from here to here to here. They pick it up and they think they want it, and then they drop it off on a shelf over here, and there's just so much in there that organizing that store has to be a nightmare. And that's basically what your home turns into. You're trying to build all these tiny little specific compartments for every little thing in your home, and it's not even things that you need. So stop building places and buying these organizational things and finding these hacks and these ways to keep things organized when you don't even need it in the first place. If you build it, they will come. If you build special organizational spots, the clutter will come. And I'm going to talk about this again. It's something that we've kind of been talking about the the last like week or so, but believe in abundance. Believe that you always have enough. So a lot of times people don't get rid of their clutter because they worry that they will need it and they won't have it, or they will need it and they don't have the money to get it again, or they spent money on it and they feel like it's wasting money, or some sort of lack mindset, some sort of scarcity mindset, some sort of like, oh my gosh, there's not enough in the world to go around. I need to hoard everything in my house and keep it. And that's not serving you. It's important to be prepared, but there's a huge, huge difference between being prepared and living in a scarcity mindset that is holding you back and keeping you stuck and suffocated and drowning and not able to organize your clutter and not able to have a house that feels good to be in. So believe in abundance. Believe that you always have enough. Some of you guys that you know, hey Edith, you know my story about only bringing 3 suitcases of one of toys and I'm sorry guys, I'm not feeling great. 1 of toys, 2 of clothes, and that's all we had. And I don't tell you guys that to be like, that should be your goal. Your goal should be able to fit all of your possessions into 3 suitcases. That's not why I tell you that. The reason that I tell you that is because we did that and we were totally okay. We still had everything that we needed. My kids had enough toys, we had enough clothes, and we were okay. So when I tell you that story, it's not to be like, you should only have 3 suitcases of stuff. It's to let you know that the problem that you have isn't that you don't have enough. The problem is that you have too much, and you can stand to get rid of a lot of it if you're feeling overwhelmed and still be okay. You're not gonna die. You're not gonna go without. You're not gonna be homeless. You're not gonna be naked. You're not gonna starve. You're not gonna be cooking without utensils. I mean, it's just not gonna happen, and I can tell you that because I've done it, and I was okay. I was more than okay. As you guys know, I say that. I was way more than okay. It was the best decision that we ever made for our family. So start believing in your abundance. Okay, start believing that you will always have enough. Stop going out and buying 8 things of hand soap because it's 50 cents off, and then you're adding clutter on top of clutter on top of clutter because you're scared that one day you're not going to have enough money to buy hand soap or laundry soap or clothes or whatever. You're always going to have enough. It's always going to come to you. You don't need to hoard it under your sink and forget about it and have it expire before you even get a chance to use it. Just really, really trust that you have enough. You always have enough. The problem is not that you don't have enough or that you won't have enough. The problem is that you have too much, and it's too much of the wrong things. Okay, so I know when I'm talking about like abundance, I'm like, you have enough, you have everything you need. You're probably like, what are you saying? But if you're holding on to these things because out of fear, if you're holding on to your clutter out of fear or because of scarcity or because your lack of money or lack of resources or lack of time or lack of whatever, you're gonna keep getting that kind of stuff. When you can let things go and be like, I am opening up this space to give me back so much more of what I actually want, then things start to get really good for you. And then you stop trying to organize your clutter, and then you stop driving yourself crazy. So I want to distinguish that right off the bat. Decluttering is way different than organizing. You can't organize clutter. You have to declutter first. So I do want to leave you with some organizational tips that I just use kind of as a blanket standard that I used in my classrooms, that worked for the kids that I worked, that they were able to use this system. And if 3 to 5-year-olds can use this system and it works, then I know that it can work for you as an adult. So I have two basic rules. So the first one kind of sets the foundation for what you need to do. Hey, Sincere, you should like spell out your name. Like, this is how you say it so that I can hopefully be saying it the wrong way, or hopefully be saying it the right way. But the first rule, tip, best organizational tip that I have for you in regards to organizing is having one spot for everything and everything in that spot. And we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but when you have one spot for everything, you don't just leave it everywhere. So I like using the example of the hairbrush. Like growing up, my dad would buy us hairbrush after hairbrush after hairbrush after hairbrush because we could never ever find it because we had so many. Sincere. Oh, it's really pretty. Sincere. Okay. So he would buy us brush and brush and brush and brush, and we would lose brush after brush after brush after brush because we knew that we had like 10 of them, and we could leave it in the kitchen or on the couch, or we could bring it into the car, or we could put it in our backpack, or we could walk out of the bathroom and brush our hair in the yard, and it didn't matter because, we would just go find one somewhere else. And then what would happen is that we ended up not having any brushes. We couldn't find them anywhere because we couldn't remember where we left them, and then we would randomly find one, but it was just like this vicious cycle. When you have too much, like, you get complacent and you get careless and you lose it and you don't know where it is, and it gets really, really frustrating. And then you go and collect them throughout the house, and then you have a box of like 10 brushes, and then it's super frustrating. So what I do now, because I don't want to have that kind of frustration with my kids, is my daughter has one brush and it stays in her drawer in the bathroom, and she is responsible for that one brush. It's way too much for her to keep track of 10 different brushes. So she has one, and I have one, because I don't want to share brushes, because she did have lice, and I don't want to get lice. So we don't share brushes. But she has one brush in her bathroom in her drawer. If she takes it out of the bathroom and she loses it, it's on her to find it, and she knows that. And she usually remembers where she put it because she only has one. And she is responsible for that. And somebody posted a thing about snow gear the other day. She had like 2 sets of snow gear, and a lot of people are like, yes, have a backup. But this is what I found also with snow gear and boots and gloves and hats. When they have so many, they don't keep track of them. And I don't feel like I have to keep track of them, because I'm like, oh, it's fine, leave it wherever, because we have backups. And what ends up happening is that we lose all of those backups. And then I have to go out and buy more gloves, because we can't find the one. And so my kids have one set of snow gear, snow pants, one set of gloves, one hat, one pair of boots, and they keep it all together, and they know that they have this one spot for it, and that's where it goes. And if they don't put it in there, they better go find it and put it back in that spot so that they know where it is. And that's just how I do it. And that's how I did it in my classrooms. That's how I do it at home. Like, everything has a spot, and everything is in its spot. And if it's not in its spot, at the end of the day, that's partly why we do our nightly resets, is so that we can go put everything back where it goes before the next day starts. And we're not like waking up in the morning like, oh crap, where's my brush? I couldn't find it. I left it down in the kitchen, and I went into the bathroom to brush my hair, and it was gone. So is this making sense to you guys? We think that we're doing ourselves a favor by having multiples of these items, and we're really making our life so much more difficult because we just throw them around wherever, because we're like, whatever, I'll find one somewhere. So that is my first step. One spot for everything, and everything in its spot. So a place for everything in its place. It's so simple. And if your home is really cluttered, it's going to take you a little while to get to this point where you can kind of like shift it around. But even like my cleaning supplies, all of my cleaning supplies stay in a little bin under my sink. All of them, except for the laundry soap. Laundry soap obviously stays in the laundry room because I'm not going to walk downstairs to the kitchen to get laundry soap. So laundry soap and dryer sheets stay in the laundry room. But my bathroom cleaner, my tile cleaner, my kitchen cleaner, my mop stuff, my sponges, my scrub brushes, all that is in a little bin under. I've been organizing the bathrooms and getting rid of tons of things. Yes, sincere. I know all of my cleaning supplies are right there. So all I have to do is pull it out, get what I need, go clean the area that I'm going to clean, and then I bring it right back. And then I'm not like, oh, I can't remember if we have toilet cleaner, or I don't remember if we have dusting stuff. I know it's right there, and when it's gone or almost gone, I know to go get more. And this is where I want to talk to you a little bit about the abundance thing. Like, we buy things because we're like, 50 cents off. Heck yeah, I'm going to get 12 of them. And then you already had a bunch at home, and you don't need more. Like, you don't need more. Now you have a bunch of cleaning supplies that is actually just clutter, and you have a bunch of them probably opened and haven't used them all, and they're scattered throughout the house. And that's the definition of clutter. Too much, just exploding everywhere. So even my cleaning supplies, I know that's a big thing for people. And they think that they're doing themselves a favor by like, oh, I'm going to just keep it up here. I'm going to keep it in the hallway closet. I'm going to keep it under the bathroom sink. And they think that they're doing themselves a favor so that it's right there. Instead of taking 15 seconds to walk down to the kitchen where the cleaning supplies are, they're like, oh, it's just right here. But the thing is, then when you go clean the other bathroom, you can't remember where you left it. You can't remember if you have any. And I mean, I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, because that's probably what you do now too. And that's what I used to do. And now that I'm not in that anymore, it's absolutely worth it to me to walk 15 seconds downstairs to go get the bathroom cleaner and the scrubs and clean the bathrooms and then bring it all back downstairs so that I know what I have. I know where it is. I'm not frustrated by it. I don't have to worry about the baby getting into it, which can be dangerous. I mean, we see things on like Facebook and stuff all the time about babies who got into the Tide Pods or whatever. And of course it's an accident, but you know, when you accidentally forget where you leave something and the baby gets it, I mean, that sucks. So even if you don't want to do it for like convenience sake, do it for safety's sake. Yeah, so that's my first tip. Let's see, Sincere, what's about one pair in a color the kids like, I usually hate, and one pair in matching colors I like, usually neutral, and that's honestly everything. I like neutrals and everything too. All right, Savannah, are you talking about snow clothes? If you want to do that, do that. But my kids are older now, so I just let them pick what they want, and I don't care. Because honestly, I don't want to manage 2 snowsuits for them. I just make sure that whatever it is that they pick matches so that it looks nice, because I do want them to look nice, but I just really don't obsess over the details, especially because they're older now and I want them to have their own style. I want them to have what they like. And I don't want to have to keep track of, that's 6 snowsuits. I don't want to keep track of that. That is too much for me, and I'm going to get really overwhelmed by that really quickly. But if you want to do that, do that. I don't want to spend my time doing that. And I don't really want to spend my money on that either, to be honest. I just don't want to. I have one thing of Clorox wipes in the bathroom and everything else in the mudroom. Yeah, and see, Shamra, like little things like that, like we have kind of the same thing, like under the sink we have just wipes for like when my son pees on the toilet and he can clean it up. Like there's the wipe, clean it up. Yeah, I agree with that. So that's my first organizational tip for you. The second one and the last one is for like actually like in the closets or in your drawers. Get rectangular bins and boxes, like shallow ones. Let me see, Kaylee's asleep, so I don't want to leave her. I'm trying to think of where. I think we have some in the bathroom, but shallow bins to like kind of separate your items. So let me show you my bathroom one real quick. Warning, I don't know what's in here, so you guys are getting the real deal today. So, hang on. Like these are little rectangular things that keep things separated without being like super complicated. So if you can see inside of here, there's like little rectangulars. Jody plug, Earthy Herbs. If you don't know Earthy Herbs, get Earthy Herbs everything. But I have like nail polish, my lotions, my deodorant, hair ties for Kaylee, all the like medicine suckers and thermometers, so that when I need it, I know where it is. And then hair stuff. So all the hair ties, all the headbands. Kaylee was sick the other day, so there's all stuff that I was giving her. And then my makeup bag. This is my sad little makeup bag. It's tiny. I don't have a lot. But in your drawers or closets, don't get like all fancy and crazy with like up and down things and side to side and like all different kinds of shapes and whatever. Kaylee's still asleep, so I can show you in like the kids' bathroom if they still have it. Nope, Brie likes to move all of her stuff around, but let me show you. Dang it, no, I don't remember. I moved everything, so it's all different. Okay, so like these are like their remote control cars and their card games and whatever. And I could have just thrown it all in there and just been like, put it on the shelves, however. But this little rectangular bin was $3 at Target. It's shallow, so it's only like this big, so it can't be super deep and like hold too much stuff, but it keeps everything nice and organized. And then, all right guys, Kaylee is out hard, so I'm gonna take you down to the craft and the art supplies and show you how I do that, and then I'm gonna hang up. And show you what I mean by like little rectangular bins and why they work, because they fit right next to each other. They're shallow, so that you can't just like throw a bunch of stuff like in a deep bucket, which quickly becomes just a catch-all. But so like this is our paint bucket. Like this is the little square thing for all the paint. This is for like scissors and the hot glue gun and the tacky glue. And usually there's another one right here of markers, and these colored pencils go in there, but I don't know where they went. But this way the kids, like when I'm like, oops. And then like here's ones for Play-Doh and clay and Play-Doh tools. Little rectangular spots. Like up here, all of the flashcards in a little rectangular box. It just like keeps it together in a way that is easy for them to see visually. And oh, of course they left the marker box on the couch. Hang on. This is Brie, she was coloring this morning, but those are the markers. So little shallow rectangular box. Shallow so that they can't just be like, I'm gonna throw the papers and the markers and the crayons and the pencils and everything else in there. I have it separate. So there's one for markers, there's one for pens and pencils, there's one for scissors and glue. And it keeps it really simple, but not so much that, like I said, it can just become a place to dump everything. But it keeps it organized and separate, and it's not complicated. Oops. I was recording on the computer and just walked away, so that'll be a good video. But super simple that way. When you get ones that are really, really big and deep, it just ends up a clutter crutch and basically a trash can where they can just throw everything and dump it in there. And that's not what you want, right? That's not what you want. Agree with depth. Been learning that one the hard way. Yeah, Shamron, it sucks because those are usually the deep ones are the ones that they sell the most, and they're really cheap. Well, I mean, relatively cheap. You're like, sweet, I can spend $5 for a shallow one or $6 for a really big one. Of course I'm gonna get the really big one. Don't get the shallow one, and line them up and segment it and separate it. And don't fall into the trap of like getting a cute circular basket or I mean, sometimes you can use those, but if you're wanting things for like crafts or socks and underwear or in the bathroom stuff, rectangular, so they fit together and it looks nice and neat. That's my second tip, and that's really the only other one that I have for you. Like we've done things like the little rod shelves that have like 3 plastic bins across the top all the way down. Those are really overwhelming. I've never been able to keep one organized. Because what happens is that it just ends up a place to dump everything. Like it's like, oh, just throw it all in there and hope that it stays organized, and it never does. The dollar store I went to had shallow ones that were awesome. Yeah, dollar store is really, really good for shallow bins, shallow plastic bins, especially for inside of drawers. If you have dressers for your kids, you can get one and put them in the bottoms of the drawers and have one for socks and one for underwear or one for sports clothes, or you could even do it for like if you want to put shoes in drawers, you know, put the shoe box lid, put it in the drawer and put one pair of shoes in each of the boxes. But that's really it. I mean, don't go out and try and complicate it. Don't go out and try and buy, you know, a big shelf to be like, no, now I have it organized, because it's all going to come undone. It always did for me every single time. In every house, in every playroom, in every kid's room, in every classroom, when I tried to get really complicated with my storage systems, it just didn't work. It wasn't sustainable. So it's not just you. If you do want the big shallow bins, or not shallow, the big deep bins or buckets, those are really good for things like blocks or Legos. Like we have some deep ones that I'll show you real quick for my son's Legos, because I mean, really, you have a lot of them. You need something deep, but only Legos go in there. So like, here's a deep one for his Legos. Here's a deep one for all the Connects, and another one of Legos. But you see how we have a lot of Legos, so it fits in the bin, and he knows that that's not where I put markers, or that's not where I put pencils. And we have one of guys. So all of their like action figures, like Baymax and Batman. Like those are all the action figure guys. And then those are all the dollhouses. So, I mean, deep bins do have a place and a purpose, but really it's only for blocks and Legos. Only for blocks and Legos. So those are, anybody have any questions or, oops, Kaylee's waking up. Questions or anybody wants some clarity or anything like that? How we do closets. If not, I'm going to hang up. It's been about 30 minutes. I'm going to go get some water and get ready for the Motherhood Simplified Live. So if Sincere and Shamra and some other people, I'm not sure who else is still on here, Cassandra, we are going to go live in the Motherhood Simplified Round 1 group. I'm going to talk to you guys about time blocking. I'm also going to clarify the master cleaning list for you guys because I'm working on mine right now, and how to do the time blocking, morning routines, evening routines, all that good stuff. So any other questions, put them in the comments. I will come back and answer them. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.